here, Cider Blossom Orchard. A warm Sunday afternoon here in third week of May. Had a series of warm days here. Mid 70s, low 80s, a lot of rain. Not a lot of rainfall, but just consistent moisture, which is really bad for apple trees, by the way. So fortunately, I prepared them for some warm, wet weather. A little better than I did earlier in the year. And we'll see how they fare here in a week or two. But it's nice getting warm again. I've been out here in the orchard all day today, off and on, doing different things. I got the rest of the rye mowed down. And I've been pinching trees on the new tall spindle planting, as well as some of the new trees here on the vertical axis. And so I thought it would be a good idea just to explain to you why I pinched the tips of those trees, leaving the central leader to grow, but pinch the tips around and what that looks like. So why I do that is because we want that central leader. That's these young trees on these trellis systems. We want that central leader to grow up, and that's where we want all the energy early on, is growing up, up, up. And so anything that's going to take energy away from that top growth will snip. And as we do that, as I'll show you, that directs that energy into that central shoot on the top that's growing upward. And we pick that guy and we try to grow him out all summer, so he'll grow as high as we can get him before fall. And then hopefully in 2 to 3 years, we've reached our 10-foot height, and we can start that growing of apples underneath there. These trees should look something like a Christmas tree when we're finished. The tall spindle being a slender Christmas tree, the vertical axis being more of a fat Christmas tree. But that's really the goal. And while I was out here doing that, I thought, well, I'll try to shoot a video. My cameraman, being 17 now, is often finding better things to do, so I'll try to do this, holding a camera in one hand and snips in the other. And I'll show you some of my handiwork from earlier in the day and give you an idea of what that looks like. Let's go take a look. Okay, here we are at Golden Delicious row here. This is the G41 rootstock that I grafted last year. And this was one of the more vigorous trees that I had growing last year. So what have I done this year? Okay, we basically came out right in this area this year. That's where the new growth started. And you can see several shoots here. 1, 2, 3, and then another on the other side, 4. What we really are looking for is this one right here. This is the shoot that we want to grow upward to reach the top of the posts and the wires up there. And so all these shoots directly below that shoot steal energy away as they try to grow outward. And the idea being that we'll come in here and pinch off this new growth out of these shoots. And I've done the same over here. And then that will redirect all that energy that was growing this shoot out. It's going to hit something of a wall there, and it's going to support the growth of this top shoot upward. And we'll continue to do that throughout the season with these tall spindles and vertical axis trees. So I have not done this row over here yet. Several good examples, and we've got some graft follow-up here as well. So you can see on this particular tree, I got to make a choice of who wants to be the central leader and which two I'm going to pinch back. I can't leave all 3 to grow. That's not going to work. So I'm going to take the one coming right off the top to be my central and tip the other 2. When you tip, ideally, you're wanting to go back about 4 inches. It's a judgment call. But there you can see that I've left the central leader to grow upward. And I've taken some of the energy away from these side shoots and put it into that central leader. And don't worry, these side shoots will branch out again as we go through a number of weeks here and continue to grow. Let's do another one. I'll find another good example. This one here's got some insect damage, so it's a good one to show. You can see that. This is the tent caterpillar at work yet again. Now these trees have been sprayed a little bit, but that guy missed the sprays. So on this tree, I'm going to do nothing. He's basically tipped the side shoots. I'll go ahead and tip this one out just a little bit more, but he's basically done it for me. The central leader would have been this guy, and we're just going to have to wait for another shoot to regrow off of that one. So here's another good example right here. On this tree, who do I want to be my central leader? It's a judgment call, but I believe the one with my thumb is going to be the one I choose to grow upward. So his buddy here to the side is going to get nipped at about the 4-inch mark, and this guy over here is going to get nipped. And there I have stolen the energy that was going to go into growing these shoots out, and I've put it into this main shoot because we want him to grow up as tall as we can get him this year. And that's what I'm doing down the rows. And you can see the rye that's been mowed, or should I say weed-eated. I did this row just today. And I approached the rye and the weed eating with the attitude of do no harm, something like a physician might think. I leave any of the rye that's up against the trees so I don't damage them with the weed eater, and I'll come back and get them by hand. This little orchard is small enough that I can still do that by hand, and it's not that labor intensive as I go through here on these other projects. So here's another one we're going to look at. I'm going to pick my central leader and snip off the other two. Okay. And I'll even come all the way down into here, take him off, because really just below, even where that central leader comes off, that whole range right in there steals a lot of energy away from this shoot right here. I'm going to get him up and growing. So what about some of the grafts that we put on this row? I marked them with some orange tape. Let's look at those on our next video. We'll not just go that far yet, and I still owe you a video on spraying and what I do with my individual spraying of these trees, and we'll maybe cover that. I know I owe you that, so we'll try to do that next video. So it's exciting. It's middle of May, and it's time spent in the orchard. Time spent well. Thanks for watching.